Hello everybody and welcome back to Kerbal Space Program, where we are basically fully refueled. I did burn a little bit of fuel here just now, but we are basically refueled. Our refueler is in a orbit above Tylo to be a communications satellite, and I raised up with some extra fuel we had on the refueler. I raised up our orbit to be roughly 100 kilometers. It's not exact, but roughly 100 kilometers. And I also inclined our orbit to try to hit this area over here. It looks a little flatter to me, and I think we're going to need to land on flat territory for sure. I'm mostly just using this as a timer, but we're going to need to land on flat territory for sure, because this is just, I think, not wide enough. In retrospect, I wish that this was at least twice as wide, our landing legs, but it is what it is. Now, you'll notice we have MechJeb installed at this point. And MechJeb is installed for a reason. That reason is SAS was really giving us some fits, causing weird pulls off in different directions, creating oscillations. I opted to go to MechJeb specifically for Smart ASS here, and that's the only reason we're using it. We're not going to use any of the automation tools. We're just going to use the Smart ASS, so that'll be fine. You know, now that I look at it here, I'm not sure that that's flatter. Maybe it is. But we're just bringing this on in. We don't actually care about this maneuver. I was mostly just using that for timing. So we're just going to bring this on in at surface velocity minus, but this is so much more stable than using SAS. Absolutely. That caused all sorts of issues. I do want to do a couple of things here. I want to extend these out just in case we do fall over on landing. We want to be able to cushion that as much as we can. So we'll do that. We'll also retract our solar panels in hopes of not just completely destroying them. So we'll get those brought on down. Beautiful. And at this point, let's go ahead and physics warp forward a little bit. That's all looking good. So our impact biome is currently over the highlands, but that's going to be changing very shortly. It's going to be right around here-ish, is the idea. Now it's in lowlands. Excellent. Okay, so we can see our speed is decreasing quite a lot here. This number is very likely to be not valid when we have this much horizontal speed. So we're going to continue to kill our horizontal speed until we have at least double-digit horizontal speed. Yeah, we can see here this number is fluctuating all over, which is about what I expected. So we're going to bring that on in. That's looking good. We are about to run out of fuel in our strap-on tanks. We are now out, and they're out of here. Fantastic. So we are continuing to bring this on in. At this point, I think that this is more accurate. So we're going to coast downward for a little bit here. That's looking decent. Our actual altitude is about 40 kilometers. Now, this number is not going to be 100% accurate. I'm going to let it go negative here, down to about here. Negative 10 seconds will probably be fine. Keep in mind, we have more delta V than we say here, because we have this tank that's not counted for some reason that I can't fathom, but whatever. Cool. So as we can see, our countdown is now down to minus 4 seconds instead of minus 10. That's looking good. The real question is, what will this slope that we land on end up looking like? Will it be reasonably flat? Well, that's the goal. Cool. So we're about to run out of fuel in this tank here, and then we'll be on just this tank. And it'll say that we have 0 DV, but that's not true. So 2 seconds, 1 second, or 0.2 seconds, 1 second. There we go. 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. So this tank is now dry. And we're going to head down over here. At this point, I want to decelerate. And continue to decelerate a bit. We're on our final approach. Cool. Let me get zoomed out slightly so that we can see a little bit better. We're continuing to decelerate here. And I'm going to... There we go. This throttle will be a little bit better. 10 meters per second right now. How are we doing on fuel? We've got enough. Looking good. Is this area flat? Maybe. That's a hard maybe. Throttling down a little bit, and oop, that was a little too much. We're going to have to sit here for the moment. Cool. Killrot. We're tumbling over. Okay. How bad is it? Pretty bad. We ended up losing our habitation module. We don't care about our habitation module. So, I mean, we knew that landing on a slope was going to be problematic with a lander of this size, right? That was always going to be the case. I'm going to detach this, get that a little bit out of the way, and at this point, I'm going to retract these legs. It'll take them a while to retract, but that's okay. Losing the habitation module is not the end of the world. That was only included to offset the weight and for an old contract. So I think that's okay. Let's go ahead and have Spaghetti EVA. Ah, Spaghetti cannot EVA because the hatch is obstructed. Where are you located, Spaghetti? You should be here. This hatch doesn't look very obstructed to me. All hatches are obstructed. I beg to differ on that one. So we're going to have low power, but, I mean, we knew that. That was already going to be a thing. We can have Spaghetti... Whoa, okay. What is crackening? We're crackening? We're definitely crackening here. Okay. There is crackening occurring. This is exciting. Apparently we can't turn the motor off on these. I'm turning the force limit down. Okay. Kraken is building back up. Are we good? Or is this just going to continually cycle? I think it's just going to continually cycle. I don't know what's going on with that. Let's, like, crank the damping up. No? This is bizarre. Okay, well, while that's happening, I'm going to transfer Spaghetti over to here. Okay. Are we done here? What happens if we extend these back out? Does that stop? That seems to fix it. Okay. I don't know what's going on with that. It's very strange. But whatever. We're going to have Spaghetti EVA at this point. And his goal... I mean, we're not going to stand this thing up in this gravity, right? That's not going to happen. But his goal is to remove this strut. Cool. And then remove the strut over here. Where is it? There it is. Remove that strut. Okay, now hop back in. Now we're going to look to get this alligator hinge over to 90 degrees. And this alligator hinge over to 90 degrees. Cool. As far as these go, we're probably not going to be able to move them in this gravity, right? I don't think we will be able to. Man, this thing's crackety. This hinge is probably part of the problem. Indeed it is. I think that hinge is a big part of the problem. Cool. So that seems fine. We're now going to have Spaghetti EVA again, but we're going to move him. So we're going to transfer over to here. And we're going to try to EVA from here. There now should be more than enough room. There we go. And we will detach this. Beautiful. And hop back in. And let's just deploy this back to 90 degrees. So this definitely would have been a much better setup. No doubt about that. This would have been a much better setup if we had... Let me think here. Yeah, if we had had a wider pair of legs, or wider quad legs, right? That was the main problem. But it's okay. We can extend this radiator. This thing is actually still fully functional if we can find a way to get these drill-o-matic mining excavators deployed. And the question is, how are we going to go about doing that in this gravity? I don't think we can really move them. This will probably... Will this work? Maybe if we rotated it. I don't know about this. Well, we don't need to be able to mine, right? That's not truly necessary here. All we need to do is get this mobile processing lab processing, and that's exactly what we're going to do. So we're going to transfer here. There we go. And we're going to move some of our data into there. So we're going to put in this magnetometer boom. Again, the reason this fell over is because it was so tall and not wide enough. It's fine. That's not going to be a problem for other locations. So we're going to review this data, and we'll just process that in the lab. That's 619 data, so we'll just get that going. Beautiful. And now Spaghetti is going to EVA again. The question is, from here, how is Spaghetti going to get back in? That's an interesting question. The answer may be to do with this alligator hinge. So we bring this down to 0 degrees, right? Okay, noted. How are we going to get back in once we drop here? Because I don't think we're going to reach. I mean, maybe Lepus doesn't get back in. Or not Lepus, Spaghetti. Maybe Spaghetti is living on the surface of Tylo forever now. Let's go ahead and let go, and we'll see if we can grab here. Actually, it does appear. Yes, we're good. Fantastic. Okay. Well, this wasn't awkward at all. So we're going to get all of this set up, right? We're going to immediately swap out for this, and we're going to get these set up, like, literally right here. So we're going to set up another one. That'll go out over this direction. Let's go ahead and grab the control station. And we need to drop the parachute for that. So we'll put the control station over here. Beautiful. Let's grab the communications array. And we'll put that up over this direction. And we're going to grab the ED monitor. That can go somewhere over here, probably. Yeah, that looks good. This is not awkward at all. This is how the colony was intended to go, definitely. Okay, so we're going to put in... What is this, the weather analyzer? That's not going to get very much, but we've got the ionographer here. Beautiful. We'll just place that over this way. And the passive seismometer, that's not going to do very much. Seems fine. How are we doing for power? Okay, we're low voltage. So we're going to drop ourselves another one of these guys. Here should do. Cool. Power available, 6. So there's all of our deployed science, good to go. And now we'll position right about here, and... Oh, come on, Spaghetti. You can do better than that. Mashing the F key as he's in flight is just not quite counting. There we go. That attempt worked. Cool. So we'll hop in. This colony is all according to plan. Perfect. This is definitely according to plan, but it's completely functional. It'll get everything done that we need to get done. Again, in retrospect, we should have widened these legs, but this is the only world we need this for, so it'll be fine. Okay, let's hop back to the Space Center real quick here. And let's take a look at contracts. What do we have for contracts? If we don't have anything, then we'll start to work on another colony, probably bring it into orbit. I don't think we have time to do another landing this episode. But that's definitely going to be the most challenging landing for us. And honestly, we just needed a slightly flatter spot to land on, or just wider set legs. Wider set legs would have done the trick. That's just a design issue, I think, ultimately. So it's fine. We'll hop into the mission control here, extract ore from Minmus. I mean, we can do that literally right now. Ore from Dress, we can do that literally right now as well, if I recall correctly. I don't think that rover... That one, the one on Dress has both, doesn't it? Both miners? I'm pretty sure it does. We're going to hop over to Minmus and get that contract done real quick. So we'll grab our colony core. Gotta make some money after we've spent all of this money, after all. Any moment now. You can do it. It's just Minmus. You can do it, KSP. Are you going to crash on us? I hope it doesn't crash. Any moment now. There we go. Now we're loading in. Cool. So all we're going to do here is we're going to jettison some ore. As soon as it actually loads. Okay, so we're going to grab this, jettison the tank contents, and there we go. There's our contract done. Fantastic. That seems like a bug, but whatever. It doesn't actually matter. And we're going to head out to Dress now. And we are going to... That's our experiment control station. Close enough. We're going to switch to that. Fantastic. Hopefully this will load in a little faster. That was a little insane how long it took to load into Minmus. But whatever. Okay. It seems like we need to restart the game. That happens eventually. But there we go. Looks good. And looks like we don't even need to jettison anything. It just happens here. Cool. So this is, of course, what the outpost is supposed to look like, but whatever. We're going to hop over to the tracking station then. And let's get to work on getting another one of these Moons of Jewel done. Any moment now. But yeah, losing our habitation module is fine. It literally was only there for stabilization and getting a contract done. It's a little unfortunate that we aren't able to mine there, although we might be able to finagle something eventually if we really wanted to. I'm not that concerned about it. Let's get rid of this debris, get that untracked for lag purposes. Boy, that didn't want to untrack for a moment there, but it looks good. Okay, so next up, we're going to go to our multi-outpost ship, or rather our multi-outpost, not our multi-outpost ship. There we go. We'll go ahead and fly this, and we're going to head over to another moon. Let's see, we need to go to, like... Do we need to go to Bop now? Bop is the one with the high inclination, I believe. There's another one. So which one is that going to be? Well, let's get this loaded in, and we'll take a look. Any moment now, KSB. You can do it. There we go. Okay, so we're in space high over Jewel, of course. Our target is currently Lathe. That is not going to be our target in the end. So Tylo's done. It is actually Bop next that's in terms of the orbits. So let's go ahead and target that. So we'll set Bop as our target, 16 degrees inclination. Noted. We're going to separate here. I don't think it matters which one we take. This one has the experiments. This one had the issue. So we're going to undock here. And we're going to take the one that doesn't have the experiments for right now. Let's... hang on. Which is which? Okay, we want to be this guy. Right? This is the one that doesn't have the experiments? Correct. We're going to get a little bit of distance here. That will allow us to extend these solar panels. There we go. And at this point, we are going to prepare for going to Bop. So we're going to set that as our target, and we'll get our inclination change done here. 16.2 degrees is a relatively hefty inclination change, of course. Can we combine that together with our interception? That is an interesting question. And the answer is a hard maybe, actually. It's kind of close. What if we waited in orbit? That's not much different. What if we did it from this node instead? So hypothetically, we would need to, of course, change this. So we would come out over this direction, adding a maneuver, and this maneuver would go this way. We would toss in the retrograde, or actually, this would be, yeah, toss in the retrograde. There we go. And continue to get our inclination change done. That extra little bit of retrograde, that's pretty close. We could potentially get like a bit of radial in there to get this encounter. Do we like this encounter? It's okay, I guess. We can bring it in maybe a little bit closer. And have it be something kind of like this? Ooh, okay. What can we get here? That looks decent. What would that braking burn be? Oh, that's really nice. That's barely anything. Okay, I like it. This encounter will do. We've got more than enough Delta V to make this happen. Okay, so let's get prepared for that burn. That's going to be a relatively short burn, actually. Only 382 meters per second. So let's prepare for that. That is a combination inclination change and Hohmann transfer. I love it. So let's prepare for that burn here in about 40 days. 20 days. 10 days. And time warp complete. Let's warp a little bit further into the future. We're going to be starting this burn in 20, 10, 3, 2, 1, mark. And of course, with this being the nuclear engine, we're going to physics warp it. And we should actually be on MechJeb, not SAS, because that way we won't have the oscillation pickup. Not that the oscillation was really a problem with this stage. It was a problem with the later portions, but we're going to be using MechJeb instead of SAS now. Cool. Yeah, I just keep thinking about that Tylo landing, and I'm like, that could have been better if those legs were wider. That's literally all it was, is the legs needed to be further set apart. But lessons learned. 3, 2, 1. This is probably close enough. Actually, this is arguably a little bit better. Ooh, that's a little too much. Okay. We're going to let this rotate on around. And pull it back out a little bit here. Oh, that's going like retrograde. Can we please go to the node? Bring it on over. And we'll just get that slight corrective burn. I liked what we had before, but then I overshot it, so. Okay. Putting this at around 27 kilometers sounds good to me. So now we're going to do a... No, don't warp there. Hold off on that. We're going to do a retrograde burn here, and this is just going to circularize. Something along the lines of this, and I don't really care about the inclination, I don't think. So let's just align to the node. Beautiful. And Bob's gravity is going to be pretty minuscule. So we're going to have a lot of leftover delta V here, but I feel like that's okay. So let's just bring this on over, and we will get into orbit this episode. I like it. And this will be a much cleaner landing, I'm sure. Our last few landings have been messy, but a huge amount of that is the oscillations that SAS is throwing in there. That makes it very difficult. So that problem should be fixed. We're going to bring this on in and intercept Bop here in about 9 days. Beautiful. We're on our way in. And then, of course, this outpost will head over to Pole. And we should be able to get this landed and this into orbit in the same episode. And then another landing, and then head out to Elu. It shouldn't be much longer. This series is definitely wrapping up. So, I'm going to warp ahead a little bit further. 40 seconds, 30, 20, 10, and we'll commence our burn here in a moment. Well, hello, Bob. We'll go ahead and grab our science data here and commence our burn. We'll keep these experiments for now. I don't want to process them until we're actually landed. Cool. And we'll grab our magnetometer report. That will, of course, have to extend on out. And we will keep that. Beautiful. Again, we could definitely land on this fuel, but we're not going to. Cool. So we're entering orbit now. Slightly overshot that, but it's fine. This is good enough. 32 kilometers and 27 kilometers. It'll do. It'll do. So we're going to have to pick a landing spot, and, I mean, the whole thing is lumpy, but the gravity is so low that I don't think it really matters. But that is a job for next episode. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and a very special thank you to all of the channel members for making this video possible, including ALS Gamer, Kentuin, James, Shadowwolf, Mlohan80, Kentogan, Nick Smarty, Dimitri H., Punching the Microphone, Spartan News, Unisil, Rogue Corvid, and all the rest. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video, and as always, I will see you all next time.